All right. Question number 6. It says, enter the value of 6 when the expression 21.2x plus c. Let me highlight this. It's saying when 21.2x plus c is equivalent to 5.3 times 4x minus 2.6. All right. To start off with, what does equivalent mean? Hopefully you said equivalent means equal. All right, so what is this question asking for? This question is asking for when 21, and I'll write it right here, 21.2x plus c, when this is equal to, or it's equivalent to, 5.3 times 4x minus 2.6. The question is asking, solve for the value of c. All right, so this question is kind of what we did last week. And if you weren't sure how to do this, I know there's a poster probably up in the front, but I want to remind you guys of kind of the 3 general steps for solving for a variable. So I'm going to go ahead and write it right here, and I hope you write this down too on your paper. So we've got 3 general steps. So let me write this down. Solving for a variable. Kind of an elementary example for 7th grade. But the first one is you're going to go ahead and make a barrier. The second step is you're going to do your, this is kind of tricky, but it's called your additive inverse. It's a big word for something really simple, which just means add and subtract. The next thing is number 3, which is your multiplicative inverse, which again is a really fancy big word, but it just means multiply or divide. So it's kind of telling you the steps to do. Start off by making your barrier. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's go ahead and make our barrier. Our barrier is where the equal sign is at. And that's it. That's our barrier. Next thing is our additive inverse. Whoa, before we even get to that, we've got a number next to a parentheses. We've got to deal with that. What happens when we have a number next to parentheses? What do we do? What operation do we do? Do we do addition, multiplication, subtraction, division? What do we do? All right. Hopefully you said you multiply, and if you did say that, you are correct. You're going to go ahead and multiply. You're going to multiply 5.3 times 4x. And let's go ahead and work that out. I'm going to just do it over here. 5.3 times, well, you could just do 4. 5 times 3 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12, so the 2 goes right there, the 1 goes here. So we did that. 4 times 5 is 20. We got to add that 1, which is 21. So we have 212. But don't forget about this decimal here. So since our problem had moved the decimal 1 time to the left, our answer's also got to move our decimal 1 time to the left. And so then 5.3 times 4 is 21.2. And let's not forget about that x. So it's 21.2x. All right. And then we also have 5.3 times 2.6. So let me bring down the negative, or subtracting. And let's do 5.3 times positive 2.6. If you're wondering why it's positive, why is it not negative? It's because we bring down the subtraction, and what you're left with is a positive 2.6. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to do 5.3 times 2.6. And let's go ahead and start. 6 times, oh man, let me go. I'm actually going to zoom in just on this, just because we're running a little bit low on space. And I'm going to go ahead and write this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to say 5.3 times 2.6. All right. All right, let's see. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. And I'm done with 6 because there's nothing left to multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the 2 now. But since I'm moving on 1 to the left, I got to add a 0 as my placeholder. And now let's continue. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. And I got nothing left to multiply, so I'm just going to go ahead and add now. 8, 7, let's see, 8 plus 0 is 0, 6 plus 1 is 6, 3 plus 0 is 3, and 1 plus nothing is 1. So we get 1,378. And we're almost done. We just cannot forget about this decimal here. Our problem moved the decimal 1 time here, 1 time here, so a total of 2 times. So that means we got to move our answer 1 time and another time for 2. So the answer is 13.78, and so we're going to have 13.78 here. And we went ahead and just distributed. And let me go ahead and write everything else down. Let me go ahead and highlight this C again. Oops, maybe keep the same color, which I think was dark blue. Yeah. All right, so we did our barrier. We have done the distributive property. What do we do next? Well, remember what the goal is. The question's asking you, what is C? And with C, if we look at C, if I have my barrier right here, this big red line, if I'm looking at my left side, I want the C by itself. And right now, what's bugging the C? Right now, what's bugging the C is 21.2x. So I got to get rid of this 21.2x. So how do I get rid of a positive 21.2x? I know it has a variable there, but don't get confused. What's the opposite of a positive 21.2x? All right, hopefully you said negative, let me emphasize that, negative 21.2x, which is correct. The opposite of a positive 21.2x is a negative 21.2x. And what you do to one side of the equation, you've also got to do to the other side. So negative 21.2x. So let's go ahead and work this out. I'm going to go ahead and do my additive inverse. So right now I'm adding and subtracting to both sides to kind of clear out the C, or to clear out the sides so I get C by itself. So I'm kind of done with the additive inverse once I do this. 21.2x minus 21.2x, that just goes away. On the other side, we have the exact same thing. 21.2x minus 21.2x, which just is a zero pair, so that cancels out. And so then what we're left with is, let's see, the left-hand side we have C is equal to negative 13.78, which, if I look at my answer key, is correct. So yeah, the answer in this case is that C is equal to negative 13.78. In this case, we have no multiplication, so we don't have to do multiplicative inverse. But yeah. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah,